Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is directed by J.A. Bayona and once again stars Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, and this is the sequel to the first Jurassic World and a continuation of the franchise because it is the same storyline. This film takes place 3 years after the events of Jurassic World, where the park was destroyed. Because of that destruction, the park is eventually closed down and that place has been basically condemned. When the dormant volcano on Isla Nublar finally becomes active and it's threatening to destroy the entire island, there's a debate going on amongst people, which is to either save the dinosaurs that were created thanks to John Hammond all those years ago, or to condemn the dinosaurs to get killed by the lava once the volcano finally erupts. But Claire, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, wants to save the dinosaurs, and when she finds out of a way to do it, she brings in Owen, once again by Chris Pratt, to try and save the dinosaurs, especially Blue, the Velociraptor that Chris Pratt raised. But when it turns out that the people who are trying to do their best to save the dinosaurs want to use the dinosaurs to essentially give them and try to make profits out of them and to try and create more new hybrids due to that program which created the Indominus in the last movie, things get out of hand. I can't say that I absolutely was excited for this film. I was on the fence a little bit. As much as I enjoyed the first Jurassic World, I can't say it's a great movie, nor can I say I love the movie, but I enjoyed it enough. There's a lot of things which I appreciated in it, some of the directional style, some of the visuals. There was a lot to like in that film, and I also bought the Blu-ray, which I got at a GameStop at a bit of a discount, but whatever. I did enjoy it enough. And I think the first Jurassic Park is a great movie. I like The Lost World as well. I know a lot of people have debates with that. 3, on the other hand, sucks. I'm sorry, it's just not, it's not a good movie. But after seeing this movie, I do have some things to say. I'm going to get the negatives out of the way first, and I know that's a little strange. I never do that, but let's get the negatives out of the way. This film takes a bit to get going. It takes about 20 minutes. Those are a kind of, well, should I say, exposition heavy, and they're a bit choppy. Because there's a time gap between this and the last Jurassic World, there's a lot of gaps to be filled in, and oftentimes when you're in that zone of things, you're kind of like, all right, we're trying to get going here, and it takes a bit to get going. And that was one of the things that was affecting me for a while. Once we get into the meat of things, and once things finally start to happen, I'm not going to spoil exactly when that is, the film gets amazing, and pretty awesome actually. But we'll talk more about that in a second. Also, there are some characters who are there in this movie who are kind of like the ones in The Lost World, where they want to have the dinosaurs there for more of a profit-based system rather than they're dinosaurs and they can live again. And that kind of, was stupid the first time, it's stupid the second time. In this one, it's handled a bit better, but it still kind of felt like, okay, we've seen it before. Hey, Blue. I'm a little busy right now. I don't know if you can see that. I'm doing the review. I'll talk to you later. I got stuff to do. Just hang back, yeah? Wow, that's amazing. She doesn't usually do that so quickly, but hey, I'll take my luck where I can. Now, like I said, the film was directed by J.A. Bayona, who brings his own visual and directional style to this film, and it shows. I'm gonna say this is visually the most impressive Jurassic Park movie so far for me. It is such a gorgeous film. The visuals, some of them in particular, shots that stick out like a sore thumb, but in a good way. They're imprinted in your brain after you leave the theater. I was sitting with my parents and watching this, and we were watching it in IMAX. It was such a sight to see this film in that scale, and it's amazing. It's a very beautiful looking movie, and I can talk about the cinematography and the visual poetry at points for many days. I might just do a spoiler review just because I want to talk about one scene. It's just one scene, but it's an amazing scene. And maybe I'll talk about it in a spoiler review if I end up doing it. I don't really need to do one, but it's just such an amazing way to make this film. Much like the last few movies, yes, there is a lot of action and the way it's filmed is amazing over here, but something which Bayona does in this film, which I appreciated a lot, is that he makes it a very confined thriller. The last few movies, while I don't mind the big open setting which they have, especially the first movie handled it really well. With the subsequent movies, I feel like there was a bit of the repetition and going back to basics kind of method that they were using. And the first Jurassic World movie did a lot of that, where it was like, all right, we're doing this throughout the entire park, but it's not stuff we've never seen before. This one, however, decides to keep it more inward based. Granted, we have an island sequence which has been teased in the trailers all throughout. The tagline of the movie is "The park is gone," and so it should not come as much of a spoiler that Jurassic Park gets blown up in this movie. But that's very early on in the film. After that, whatever happens throughout the rest of the film is often very small scaled, but big nonetheless. And I really admired that you could actually get a lot of tension out of it. In fact, ever since the first one of the things I've had issues with regarding this franchise is the tension has been rather minimal. You don't feel that horror that you felt the first time you saw the T-Rex in the 1993 movie. The closest I would say was the finale in the first Jurassic World film, but that also to an extent that was more exciting action than it was, oh my god, this is kind of like sending chills. This one, however, has genuine scary moments that actually were pretty effective, and I love what they were able to do. There's a new dinosaur in this movie called the Indoraptor, and I'm not going to give any spoilers about it. I'm just going to say it's great. I loved this thing. They utilized it so well. I was so happy with the way they did it. I was much happier with it than I was with the Indominus Rex, which also I didn't mind. Also, this film uses the practical effects really well. These are actual puppets, they're animatronics, and they're used beautifully. Yes, there is some CGI work done on them, but they're very convincing, and you can tell that for the most part of the movie, these actors are really staring at actually created animatronic dinosaurs. And that's actually a really cool detail to do. The direction by Bayona is fantastic, and I know I'm dwelling on this a lot, but it's really great. It is a beautifully directed movie. The score by Michael Giacchino is great. It's much better than his work. Everything in this movie essentially is much better than the first Jurassic World movie, and I know that means like I didn't like the first Jurassic World, but I did. But this movie just does a lot of things that I wanted that movie to do a lot better, and I think that's worth talking about. Chris Pratt in this movie is just as charismatic as ever. He was great in that first movie. He's wonderful here as well. Bryce Dallas Howard in this movie, however, is much better in this movie. In that last one, she was kind of lost. I didn't particularly care for her character in that last one. Here, she has a lot more to do, and it's not in heels. And... wait 1 second. Blue! What are you doing? Get off Star-Lord. Chris Pratt. Owen, get off Owen right now. You heard me. Sorry, it's just... sometimes Blue wants attention, so Blue does some things. The film also has a great way of connecting things that have been established in previous movies before. One of the things that the movies have constantly talked about is what would happen if dinosaurs were to be unleashed onto the world. Like, how would the world react? This is something that Ian Malcolm brings up in the first movie, and he's in this movie as well. Jeff Goldblum is in this for a bit. And he constantly discusses this, like, here's the problem with it, here's what's wrong. And in a world where some people want the dinosaurs to live, the unfortunate fact is that there is a process of evolution. There are things that change, processes and thoughts, and the way the Earth runs is changed by bringing dinosaurs back into it, or interfering with the way evolution and the way life works. And this is where the problems arise, and they will eventually get worse and worse if we continue to ignore it like this. That's a message that I actually really appreciated. It's a wonderful way of tackling the fact that we'll eventually come to a point where one thing is going to happen, and if it happens, it's going to be a very messy situation for a lot of people. I can't really say what that is. I'm being a little vague, as you can probably tell. So, it's an early review, so I have to be a little more vague on the details. Also, the film has some mythos that adds to the way Jurassic Park is. Now, I'm not going to go into that at all, but it's going to be a little strange hearing it. It's kind of where the film does some things which are changing things that have happened before, or more like enhancing them in different ways. Some people are going to like the choices made, and they're going to be accepting of those choices. Some people are not going to be accepting of those choices, and some people are going to hate it. I don't know what category I'm in. I kind of like what they're doing. At the same time, I'm a little skeptical as of this moment. I feel like maybe they will find a way to make some things more effective later on. But as of right now, some of the concepts introduced are a little more on the interesting side and curious side than they are on the, oh, I am on board. But we'll see what happens with that. I'm not really sure where they're gonna go with it. But really, this film is the closest so far that a Jurassic sequel has gotten to that first one. That first one is going to remain, I think, a timeless film. And I don't know if there's gonna be any film, especially the next one coming out, which is going to ever top that or come close to it. But this is the closest it's come so far in this entire franchise. This film does a lot of things that the first one did, but it does it in a much better way than other Jurassic Park movies have done it before. And I really liked what Bayona did. I would actually like to see him attached to this series more, and I'd like to see what he would do if he was to be given another chance at it. And hold on, what? Blue, leave the pork! What are you doing? The pork's not gonna hurt you, come on! Get off! Now! Just go! I have to seriously work on the playtime thing with Lou. I'm sorry. Sorry you're having to see all this. But yeah, I highly recommend this movie. Maybe it's because I walked in a little skeptical and may have enjoyed this movie a little more, but not really. I actually genuinely really like this movie. I can't wait to see it again, and I would love to own it on Blu-ray once it comes out. I'm gonna give Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom an 8.5 out of 10. So as you can tell, this is a new place. I've just got a new house, not a dorm room or anything. It's a house, a proper house, which still needs to be set up. Posters need to be put up there, and a few other places. So you'll see a lot more. I got a new TV also, so there's gonna be some cool stuff regarding that. And we'll see what we can do regarding some more interactive content like that. But it's cool. I can't wait to set this place up. I know this review is a little bit early, so trying to ask you what you guys thought of the film is maybe a little strange. But if you have seen the movie, what are your thoughts on it? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know. You guys are the best. And oh, shit!